morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Thursday, December the 15th, about 10 days away from Christmas, and we're going to talk about Christmas right now. This is the most important time of the year for our next two guests from the Salvation Army. Major Nancy Holloway, good to have you here.
Thank you.
Area Coordinator.
Correct.
And then we have Major Jack Holloway,
Right.
who is the Area Business Administrator. And you were both rather new to Columbia.
Still new.
Yeah.
About 5 months.
You said you feel comfortable, but you're still using your GPS to get around.
Well, every once in a while I'll have an appointment and I'll have to stop and think about where I'm going, and I just question it, and so I punch it in my GPS.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, you both look like you fit in perfectly, though.
Well, thank you.
You have wonderful,
Thank you.
sincere smiles, both of you. This is the time of the year that's so important for the Salvation Army.
Yes.
You receive most of your donations in December, don't you?
We actually receive about a quarter of our income during the month of December, during our Christmas appeals and the kettles and through different donations that people send.
That's when people think of the Salvation Army. But the important thing that we all need to keep in mind is we think about the Salvation Army in December, but they're out there helping people in our community every day of the year. 12 months of the year, 365 days of the year. If it's a leap year, it's 366 days of the year.
Last year alone, we served over 46,000 meals.
46,000 meals.
46,000
Are you talking about
meals.
here locally?
Here locally.
In the Central Missouri area.
Right. At our Harbor House, breakfast, lunch, and dinners with residents or people coming in on the community.
Yeah. And how many people have you put up over the year as far as offering shelter?
A little over 13,000 last year.
13,000
nights of lodging.
It's a 61-bed shelter, but it's throughout the year,
Yeah.
and we count those as individual nights of lodging.
So what do you say to people listening to us today or watching, and they're thinking about giving, but they're not sure? Why is it important to make a donation to the Salvation Army?
Their donation makes a change in someone's life. And for us to have that impact, to be able to provide shelter, provide the casework, comes through grants that we receive through funding through the United Way, but also comes from the public support. Mm-hmm. And so we want to reach out and serve.
The public support is very, very important.
It is very important.
And I think you're probably finding that people in Central Missouri have an awful big heart.
They do. They do. And the community is being very generous, and we just ask them to continue to support the Salvation Army in its efforts.
Now, the red kettles are out on the street right
Yes,
now. They're in front of stores.
19 locations in
19
the Columbia
locations.
Area. In the Columbia area, correct.
So when you see the red kettles out there, somebody ringing the bells, do give and give generously. Sometimes, though, I'll see the red kettle there, locked on a stand, and no one's there. You still can give that money.
You can still give that money. That means that possibly either a volunteer or we do hire temporary employees, and it's a way for individuals to earn a little bit of money during the Christmas season to support their families, and maybe they're taking a break, stepping in to get warm. Although with weather, it
hasn't
comes
been
and
that
goes.
bad so far this year. But if you would like to help out with the Salvation Army, if you want to help out monetarily, or if you would like to help out by volunteering, how can they do that?
They can do that by calling the Salvation Army office number and asking for Captain Katie Harris-Smith. She's in charge of our kettle coordination this year, and she'll be glad to sign you up. It's a great activity for families, for friends, for coworkers to get together and
Service
do.
organizations, churches, anything like that.
Right. And when you sign up to ring the bells, you're volunteering what, a couple of hours?
A couple of hours.
Yeah. So it's a couple of hours, and if you want to do it with some friends or a group or organization, you can go out and you can do it together. You can have a good time. You ring the bells, and you catch up on old times also.
You have a wonderful time, and it's amazing the amount of neighbors and friends and people you go to church with or work with that you will see and enjoy the time. But another way, also, just a reminder that our angel trees are out there at the Walmart locations, and you can take the tags, purchase a gift for a child, tomorrow, on the 16th, we're asking for all the gifts to be returned, but there are still a few angels out on those trees. So we'll be distributing next week on the 20th.
Okay. And the red kettles will be out on the streets how long?
Until the 24th.
24th. What is the goal this year?
413,000 is the total Christmas goal. The kettle goal is 129,000.
So you're hoping that you'll take in $129,000 in the kettle.
Correct.
And the total Christmas goal is what?
$413,000.
And that's coming in by people writing checks and sending donations in
Correct.
to the Salvation Army. Now, if you've donated to them in the past, you most likely will get a letter from the Holloways asking for a donation again this year. If you have not received that letter yet, you still can make that donation.
Correct.
You can either put it in an envelope and address it and send it to the Salvation Army, or you can drop it by in person.
That's correct. And, we can provide those tax receipts because the end of the year is approaching. And so if you want that tax deduction, it's a good time to doing that.
What would you say is the most important service that you provide in this community?
In this community, probably our Harbor House. It's a 61-bed shelter, and we have 6 family rooms. We have dorms for men and for women, and it's just helping individuals get that fresh start.
Yeah, right. One of the majors, several majors back, used to like saying at the Salvation Army, we don't call it a handout. We call it a hand up.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I like that expression.
It's wonderful when you know that you're contributing to making someone's life better, brighter, and that you're serving by your giving your donations.
Yeah. The other thing, keep in mind, we haven't got many days left before Christmas for Christmas shopping. You can go Christmas shopping with the Salvation Army, right?
You can go Christmas shopping at the Salvation Army, or if you need some of those last-minute decorations, check out one of our stores. I know this year I sorted through all my Christmas decorations, and I just sent boxes down, which my husband was glad to get rid of since we just moved here.
Pared down.
Paring down,
Yeah.
going one Christmas tree this year.
All right. Well, Merry Christmas to you, and don't
Merry
forget the
Christmas.
Salvation Army. Be generous with them because it all stays right here in our community,
That's
helping
right.
people in our community. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
by.
you very much.
Merry
Thanks,
Christmas to both of
You too.
Okay. Tomorrow, Pet Health, and we'll find out about the Southside Philharmonic Orchestra, brand new. Have yourself a nice afternoon. Bye-bye.